What would you do if the books in your library started whispering to you? What if they knew your name and had been waiting for someone exactly like you to come along? Mia Chen was about to discover that the dustiest shelf in the smallest corner of her neighborhood library held secrets that would change her summer and her life forever. Mia was having the worst summer vacation in the history of summer vacations. It had started with her best friend Jasmine moving away to Colorado. Then her mom had landed a huge project at work that kept her busy even on weekends. And now, as if the universe hadn't already decided to ruin her life completely, her internet was down for the third day in a row. It's going to be another 2 days, her mom had explained that morning, phone pressed between her ear and shoulder while typing frantically on her laptop. They can't send a technician until Wednesday. 2 more days? Mia had groaned dramatically, flopping onto the couch. What am I supposed to do until then? Her mom had given her the look, the one that meant she was about to suggest something terribly old-fashioned. Why don't you go to the library? You used to love it there. That was before, Mia had wanted to say. Before Jasmine left. Before 6th grade, when they'd started their book club for 2. Before her mom's promotion meant she was always too busy for their Saturday morning reading sessions. But arguing would be pointless. So here she was, trudging through the heat toward Oakwood Public Library, a place she hadn't visited since she was 9. The blast of air conditioning as she pushed through the heavy glass doors was the first good thing that had happened all day. Mia stood in the entrance, letting the cool air dry the sweat on her forehead as she looked around. The library seemed smaller than she remembered, and emptier. A few elderly people reading newspapers, a harried-looking dad trying to manage twin toddlers in the children's section, a librarian with spectacular purple-framed glasses shelving books. Mia sighed and wandered toward the middle grade section, not really expecting to find anything interesting. She would grab whatever, sit for an hour or 2, then go home and tell her mom she'd had a perfectly adequate time. That's when she heard it. A sound so faint, she almost thought she'd imagined it. A whisper, like the pages of a book being turned very quickly. But also, words. Had someone said her name? Mia turned around, but there was no one nearby. Hello, she called softly, feeling slightly foolish. The whispering stopped immediately. Weird. She turned back to the bookshelf and ran her finger along the spines, pretending she hadn't just talked to empty air. The fantasy section had always been her favorite, back when she and her mom would. Mia. This time, she definitely heard it. A whisper, but clearer. And it had absolutely said her name. Who's there? She demanded, spinning around again. Nothing but shelves and books and the distant sound of the twins squealing in the children's section. Mia's heart thumped hard in her chest. She was not the kind of person who heard voices. She was practical, sensible. She got straight A's in science. I'm just hungry, she muttered to herself. Low blood sugar makes people imagine stuff. We are not imaginary, came the whisper, right by her ear. And we've been waiting for you. Mia yelped and jumped back, crashing into the bookshelf behind her. Several books tumbled to the floor with loud thumps. The librarian with purple glasses looked up sharply. Everything okay over there? She called. Sorry, Mia stammered, crouching to pick up the fallen books. I just tripped. The librarian nodded and went back to her shelving. Mia's hands trembled slightly as she gathered the books. She was not going crazy. There was a logical explanation. Maybe some kid was hiding and playing a trick on her. Or maybe the air conditioning vents made weird sounds that just happened to sound like the blue one, whispered the voice again. Pick up the blue one. Mia froze. Among the fallen books was a slim volume with a faded blue cover. No title on the spine, no author name she could see. It looked ancient and, frankly, boring, but her hand reached for it anyway. The moment her fingers touched the cover, a strange tingling sensation shot up her arm. The air around her seemed to grow very still, as if the whole library was holding its breath. Open me, the book seemed to whisper, though Mia couldn't tell if she was hearing it with her ears or somehow directly in her mind. This is ridiculous, she thought. Books don't talk, yet she found herself opening the cover. The first page was blank except for a small illustration of a key in the center. No title page, no publisher information. Just a key, drawn in silver ink that seemed to shimmer slightly as she looked at it. Turn the page, came the whisper. Mia hesitated. The rational part of her brain was screaming that this was crazy, that she should put the book back and run home. But the other part, the part that had devoured stories about magical wardrobes and hidden doorways and children discovering they had secret powers, that part was already turning the page. The next page contained just 3 lines of text, written in the same shimmering silver ink. The right reader opens more than pages. The right key unlocks more than doors. Are you the one we've been waiting for? Am I the what? Mia whispered. Shh. The book's whisper was somehow urgent. Not so loud. She'll hear you. Who will hear me? Mia whispered, more quietly this time. The librarian. The way the book said it. Mia could hear the capital L, the one with the purple glasses. Mia glanced over at the woman, who was now helping an elderly man find something in the reference section. No, the book replied. The other librarian. The one who doesn't want us to be found. This was getting stranger by the second. Look, Mia said, feeling increasingly foolish for talking to a book. I don't know what's happening, but take me home, the book interrupted. It's not safe to talk here. Take me home, and I'll explain everything. Mia stared at the book in her hands. It looked so ordinary. Despite the strange tingling sensation she still felt through her fingertips. She could just put it back on the shelf and leave. Go home, tell her mom the library was boring, and wait for the internet to come back. But she knew she wouldn't. Fine, she sighed. But if you turn out to be some kind of cursed object that's going to haunt my house, I'm bringing you straight back. Was it her imagination, or did the book actually chuckle? 5 minutes later, Mia had checked out the blue book, along with 2 others she'd grabbed randomly to make the blue one less conspicuous. The librarian with purple glasses hadn't even blinked as she scanned it, just reminded Mia that they were due back in 2 weeks. The walk home seemed faster somehow, despite the heat. Mia kept the books clutched tightly to her chest, occasionally glancing down to make sure the blue one was still there and hadn't transformed into something else. It remained stubbornly, ordinarily book-shaped. By the time she reached her house, she'd have convinced herself that she'd imagined the whole thing. Low blood sugar and boredom and too many fantasy novels as a kid had combined to create a weird hallucination. But as she set the books down on her bedroom desk, the blue one fell open by itself, flipping to a page she hadn't seen before. "Hello, Mia Chen," read the shimmering words that appeared on the formerly blank page. "Thank you for bringing me home. Now we can really talk." Mia sat down heavily on her desk chair. "Okay," she said, crossing her arms. "Start talking. What are you? And how do you know my name?" The silver words faded, replaced by new ones. "I am the Book of Doors, one of 12 whispering books created to guard the gateways between this world and the library of impossible stories." "The library of what now?" Mia asked, her skepticism battling with growing fascination. "The library of impossible stories, where all the books that were never written exist. The stories too strange, too wonderful, or too dangerous for your world." Mia frowned. "That doesn't make any sense. How can books that were never written exist?" "All stories exist somewhere, Mia. Some make it into your world. Others remain in ours, waiting for the right reader." "And what makes me the right reader?" she asked. The book's pages rippled slightly, as if it was considering its answer. "You hear us. Not everyone can. Only those with a gift, those who truly love stories not just for entertainment, but for their magic, their truth. You used to understand this. You've forgotten, but you still have the gift." Something twinged in Mia's chest, a mixture of sadness and recognition. It was true that she loved reading once, more than almost anything. Before middle school made it uncool. Before her mom got too busy. Before Jasmine left. "Say I believe you," Mia said, still not entirely convinced she wasn't having some elaborate daydream. "What exactly does a right reader do?" "You must find the other 11 whispering books. Together, they create a key to the gateway. The gateway has been closed for decades, but there are signs it's weakening. If the wrong person finds a way through." The book's words trailed off ominously. "What happens then?" Mia prompted. "Stories have power, Mia. The right story in the wrong hands could change your world in ways you can't imagine. Some would use a library to rewrite reality itself, and I'm supposed to stop this." "How exactly?" "Find the other books. They're hidden in plain sight, scattered among ordinary books in libraries and bookshops across the city. They'll call to you, as I did. But be careful. You're not the only one looking for them." "The other librarian?" Mia guessed. "Yes, she appears human, but she is not. She seeks the books for her master, a collector who wants the library's power for himself." Mia rubbed her temples. This was a lot to take in. Part of her still thought this might be an elaborate prank, or that she'd fallen asleep in the library and was dreaming all this. But another part, the part that had felt that undeniable tingle when she first touched the book, that part believed. "How will I recognize the other librarian?" she asked. "She changes her appearance, but her eyes remain the same, amber, with vertical pupils, like a cat's, and books grow silent in her presence. If you find yourself in a library where no books whisper, beware." Mia was about to ask another question when she heard the front door open. "Mia, I'm home. They let me off early for once." Her mom's voice called up the stairs. The book's pages fluttered urgently. "Tell no one about me." "Not yet. The fewer who know, the safer you'll be." "Mia, Her mom's footsteps were coming up the stairs now. Coming, Mia called back. She looked down at the book. We'll talk more later, she whispered, and closed it just as her mom appeared in the doorway. Hey, kiddo, how was the library? Her mom's eyes fell on the small stack of books. Oh, you actually checked some out. Anything good? Mia glanced at the blue book of doors, now silent and innocent looking among the others. Just some random stuff, she said casually. But actually, I think I might go back tomorrow. They have this summer reading program that sounded kind of cool. Her mom's eyebrows rose in surprise, but she smiled a real smile, the kind Mia hadn't seen much lately. That's great. Maybe this internet outage is a blessing in disguise. She ruffled Mia's hair, the way she used to when Mia was younger. I was thinking we could order pizza tonight. What do you say? Sounds perfect, Mia said, smiling back. As her mom headed back downstairs to call the pizza place, Mia looked at the small blue book on her desk. Maybe this summer wouldn't be so terrible after all. Outside her window, a crow landed on the branch of the oak tree in their yard. It cocked its head, its eyes unnaturally focused on Mia's window. For a moment, just the briefest moment, its eyes flashed amber, with pupils like dark vertical slits. Then it spread its wings and flew away, disappearing into the summer sky. The whispering books had been found. The search had begun, and Mia Chen's ordinary summer had just become extraordinary.